Before we even start the video, Matt catches one off the dock. That's a nice one. What's up, everybody? It's Dan again from Headwaters Kayak Shop, and we're back out here at Lodi Lake at our demo facility. And today we got a really cool video. We're going to be doing a second pedal drive shootout. So since the last time we checked in, Matt actually bought himself an Hobie Outback from our Reading store. And Bam's been dominating the Yak A Bass series in borrowed kayaks. He's been borrowing Slayer 13s from me, Hobie Outbacks, a bunch of different crafts. And he's actually undefeated this year in the Yak A Bass series. So we figured it was probably time for him to get his own kayak. So he's going to test drive a few today. I should add that Bam's not a very big guy, so there's no need for this guy to be in a pro angler. How much do you weigh, Bam?
Like 155, 165 pounds, depending on how fit I'm feeling at the time.
What are you looking for in a kayak?
You know, I need to be able to extend my range as far as I possibly can, so a kayak that's got some speed and some good efficiency. I'm in this for being self-powered, self-propelled, and for the whole form of kayak fishing. I want it to be as kayak fishy as it could possibly be for me.
Cool. All right, so fast.
Fast, efficient, stable enough to stand up in, but not necessarily something that I'm going to be standing and fishing out of all the time. I found that I like to be able to sit down and control my boat the entire time as opposed to standing up and getting away from the controls. And then I really want to be able to launch wherever I want, so a boat that I could still maneuver outside of the water by myself and be able to launch it down levees or whatever crazy situation I find myself in.
And that's why you're not looking at Titans and pro anglers, you're looking at something a little faster, lighter, smaller.
Right, exactly. And since I'm not a huge guy, I can get away with something a little bit smaller and still kind of stand up and be perfectly stable. So.
All right. Sounds good, man. Let's hop in some and see how it goes. That's going to be in his Outback to start off, and then we'll swap around. So what do you want to start paddling, Bam?
I think I'm going to try out that Cruise FD. It's something new I haven't tried out, so it's...
All right, that leaves me with the Native Manta Ray, which I'm very familiar with this boat. Look forward to hopping in them. Let's go. So the adjustments are on the floor there. You got a couple of screw knobs and you can scoot yourselves up to the pedals. This thing also has a high-low adjustment, and right now you got it in the low position, so just for reference. It's actually about as high as the Manta Ray in its only position. So this thing only goes forward and backwards. This one is forward and backwards as well as high-low. So just an FYI. So we're just cruising across Lodi Lake, trying to get out of some of the noise for you guys. Hopefully there's not too much background noise. First fish of the day. Well, at least on the kayaks. Lodi Lake's a trip. There's so many fish in this place. What are you throwing today, Matt?
Trickworm.
That's what you've been catching them on.
Trickworm.
All right. So at the mouth of Lodi Lake, where it connects to the river, there's a little bit of current. And it tends to be a staging area for bass, and they stack up. Bam said he just counted 8 bass in there. See if they can catch them, though.
I figured they were close to the current for a reason.
So Matt, you've been fishing that Outback for a while. How often do you find yourself missing the instant reverse?
Only probably the first, I don't know, handful of times out, half dozen. It really only bothers you till you get used to it, and then you don't think about it anymore.
It just becomes second nature?
Yeah, because at first I would usually, if I'm going towards something I don't want to go towards, I'd pedal back really quickly. So in this, I would pedal really quickly and I'd keep going forward and gotta remember to pull it. But like I said, after about, oh wow, there are some good ones back there. After about a dozen times out or so, you get used to it pretty good.
What made you decide to go with the Outback?
I mean, a lot of people like them, and I'd never really tried it. I've also figured that it would be kind of the best of both worlds as far as freshwater and saltwater fishing. So far, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a little heavier than I thought for car topping, but besides that, I've got no complaints. What I like about this is I could stand sideways really comfortably and fish too. The hook set, I'm not all, whoa, I'm pretty solid. I mean, it's not as big as a PA, but for this year, or for the 2019 model, they kind of mixed the PA and the Outback. So you've got quite a lot of room for a standing platform. It's super stable, and I love the hatch in the middle. That's probably my favorite thing, because I've got a whole bunch of junk in there.
What do you weigh, just so the viewers kind of have a reference point?
170, give or take. And then he's probably another 50 pounds, just under.
So a little higher capacity. Out of the three, the Outback's definitely the biggest capacity. And then probably next would be the Cruise FD, and then third would be the Manta Ray. And just for reference, I'm 6'2", 230 pounds, and I'm still able to fit in the Manta Ray, no problem. and stand in it comfortably. But again, I am fairly agile on a kayak. Your results may vary. All right, Bam, you want to cruise or what?
Let's go for a cruise.
We're gonna go hit up a different spot and see if we can find some fish that are a little bit less spooky. Kayaks definitely move through the water a lot better than most big fishing kayaks. Little effort, and we're going probably 4 or 5 miles an hour. So what are your thoughts on the steering on that? I see you kind of like working the toggles quite a bit.
Yeah, this boat doesn't seem to track quite as well as I was thinking it was going to. You gotta really be on top of the steering controls pretty much the entire time if you want to keep it going where you want to go.
Yeah, there's no setting it and forget it. It's sort of having to stay on it. I would love to see them address that. That was my feeling in the Kusa as well. It's too much side to side. Like, you're always on it.
That kills you when you're fishing too. You know, you're trying to make it down a bank and cover a bank efficiently, and in the middle of every single cast you make, you got to reach down and keep steering your boat. It really takes away from your cast.
Whereas in the manta ray here, I'm feeling like it's easy for me to go straight, but when I turn, I really got to, have a plan and take some time. It doesn't drift. But I will say I've been in a manta ray with the Burley Pro rudder upgrade and the Boondocks rudder, and it definitely makes a huge difference. Maybe they'll come out with something like that for the cruise. That'd be rad. So what's up, man? You want to trade?
Swap it up.
All right, I'll let you get in this manta ray. I'm going to hop in that Cruise FD. I feel like the best in this kayak.
Yeah.
It just feels like one, it feels like a kayak, and then two, I'm just so used to the drive, how I can get it to like break loose when I backpedal. Oh, dude, if you slipped right there, you almost flipped.
That was close. Trying to get that rod and it was stuck in there.
Too much time in a bass boat, man.
I'm new, I don't know what to do.
All right, you ready? So this is the deal. I'm gonna step in over here.
Ready?
Like a couple of old pros. Yeah, no problem. That's different. Huh? The dress is different, yeah.
Feels a lot different. This drive immediately feels a lot smoother to me.
Yeah?
There's like a certain point in the revolution on that drive where you like feel a hiccup or something, you know what I mean?
It's all,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So I'm in the Cruise FD now, and this is the Cruise FD with the 2.0 drive, which means I call it the 2.0. It's not actually called the 2.0. It's the new drive with the double-bladed prop as opposed to the triple-bladed prop. I'm sure Jackson has a proper name for it, but you get the idea. Definitely is a little bit smoother than their older drives, but still, after hopping out of that native, I would say that drive felt smoother yet. I think there's just less moving pieces and parts in it. And the steering on this is great as far as maneuverability goes. You know, I can really crank the handle and get it to turn. Even if I edge into my turn a little bit, it even goes more. But the downside, like Bam was mentioning, is the lack of tracking, the lack of just ability to go straight is kind of hard. So in tight quarters like this, it's not bad. I can just zip around and get my boat to go where I want it to go. But when you're just trying to cruise straight along a bank or whatever, it's a little bit more work. What I like about how the drive works is that they still give you a pretty open standing platform for moving around in with that hatch. So the prop isn't in your way. You have a pretty good, ability to like move your feet position around, turn around. Not quite as much as a Hobie, but definitely better than the native. The native drive comes all the way back here. And again, you guys, I'm running the seat base in the low position. I felt like the high position was pretty tippy for a guy my size at 230 pounds. It was up there. So the low position, I still feel like I have good ergonomics. I'm not stretching to the pedals, but it feels way more stable for me. Now you got some hitchhikers back there, buddy.
Boy, stay.
You're a good boy. Milo's a rescue, so he's still a little skittish about things.
Stay. Yes, I have.
You're all cleared up. One thing I'll say about that Hobie is that thing is dead silent in the water.
It's quiet and it's quick. It's quiet and it's quick. You get moving pretty good. You guys want to have a drag race?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down. You want a drag race, Bam?
Cruising.
All right, we're lining them up, you guys. The old-fashioned drag race. You got your drive clicked in this time, Matt?
Yes.
We got so much shit for that in the last video.
I understand how it works now. That was my fault.
Yeah.
Hope the drives are fine. It was just me.
All right, Milo, you ready for a drag race? Ready as you'll ever be. All right, on your marks. Get set. Go. Oh, he's pulling me into his wake. Oh, dude, I'm getting left in the dust. Man, both those boats are throwing huge wakes. This thing. I mean, granted, I'm trying to film, but still, like, the amount of effort it took me as soon as I hit their wake, whoo, it just shot this boat sideways. So it looked like it was just as fast as the Outback.
Damn near.
Just as fast, but I don't think I could maintain that for as long as you could on the Outback.
So you think that that feels more efficient?
Right.
Could I have you guys swap just to, like, see? Do the old boat swap here. See how Milo
Handles it.
See how Milo handles
I
it.
think you can step in here with me, and then I'm going to trade the dog over.
So while we're switching here, let's talk a little bit about price, you guys. The Manta Ray stock is about $19.99. The Outback stock is, I'll say, roughly $3,000 because they don't like me quoting prices.
We can have 2 people, and it's just fine.
2 people and a dog. So anyway, there's about $1,000 price difference, but with the Manta Ray, you might want to do some of the upgrades. Like on this one, I've got upgraded pedals, I've got a weed guard, a few other options to it. And the boat I'm in, $23.99 on the Jackson Kayak Cruise. This is comedy. All right, how's that feel, Bam?
Feels like it takes a lot less effort to get to where I want to go. Number one takeaway, I think, is just immediately swap it over like that.
You just barely kick in and it just cruises.
And that's what I kind of noticed too. This is my 3rd time being on an Outback. Is that you can like really kind of find the way that it's like comfortable for you to pump the pedals too and moving the boat around. Like,
say that again, Matt. So the flippers, when you're moving forward, if you flip,
if you're going forward at a good speed and you go to pull the reverse, the flippers actually have to turn. And so they have to turn and go flat against the water before they complete that turn. So it's really hard to pull, and I've heard some people breaking the cord from their pull, and a lot of people replace it with a thicker paracord.
I see, okay. So it's better to do it at a stop or a nice slow speed.
Yes, for sure.
All right, good to know. I know it's the same with the Native. You don't want to just jam it backwards into reverse because it puts a ton of torque on that drive.
Yeah.
You want to, think of it a transmission of a car, probably on either of these. You want to slow down, let the drive catch up, and then hit the reverse. All right, let's do another drag race. So hopefully this time I'll get out of the way a little bit and I'll have a better run at them.
yeah.
All right, tell me when.
On your marks, get set, go. Yeah, that Manta Ray doesn't suck, man. Look at those guys. Poor Milo. Oh, I just broke my drive. I'm not going anywhere. But that gives you a pretty fair comparison of those 2 boats. They're pretty neck and neck. I gotta figure out what happened here. I was going full on and something broke inside my drive. Still turning. I have no idea what happened, but something broke inside here. You can see that thing just pulling out. But yeah, that thing is just completely roasted, pulling out. I don't... Something came loose inside there. I guess we'll see. How did that drag race compare? I mean, you guys were neck and neck, surfing each other's wake.
You know, I wouldn't really say that the Outback is any faster than the Manta Ray, but I could definitely maintain that speed much longer with the Outback than I could with the Manta Ray.
So the efficiency of the pedals, you feel?
Efficiency is the major difference maker, I think.
You guys always ask about how to do the pedal drives paddle. I'm going to show you because I don't have much of a choice today. But I'm going to send the paddle to Jackson home. This thing does have a little lock-in spot for the rotor to lock it in so it's not turning. That's kind of cool. What's not cool is having to paddle home. It's not something you want to do unless you have to, right? Or maybe if you're in real shallow water, but I feel like with the flex drive you could, get in real shallow water. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a real test. We do these drag races, 1, because it's fun, just to see what's faster, but 2, it puts a lot of torque on the system. What's going to happen when you're out there living with it, and it just couldn't handle the power. I don't know what else to say. I don't know, man. I felt like it was kind of creaking as I was going when I was really getting on it, and I just really punched it because I'm competitive and I didn't want to lose to you guys. And I just feel like it's just something broke inside. It just lost all its traction. So I feel like out of the pedal style drives, man, that native is tough to beat. That little Manta Ray, fast, it tracks well, and I still like the control. For me, I'm still a native guy, through and through. But that Hobie is compelling for sure. Just silent.
Silent, efficient, but yeah, I think the natives really track well and have probably like the overall best compromise of efficiency, speed, and control.
The native?
The native, yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to spend your money on one, man. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I don't know. You know, the last 2 times I've been out borrowing kayaks, I borrowed Outbacks, and it seemed to treat me pretty well.
That's true. You got 2 wins back-to-back in the Outback.
2 wins, there's something to be said for that. I've really missed having the instant reverse, you know, because I'd fished out of natives for the last couple of years. I missed the instant reverse a lot, but just the overall efficiency of the Hobie, I felt like it just gave me such a bigger range as to where I could fish and where I could go ahead and plan my day.
That's one of the things you were talking about too. You wanted something you could, you know, get to the water, but also something that has range. You're fishing a lot of big reservoirs with the Yak A Bass Tournament, and the delta is pretty huge, so I can see that being a priority. What about the compass though? I mean, we didn't really talk about the compass, a little smaller brother to the Outback. Smaller, simpler, a little faster.
Yeah, you know, I've never really been on a compass. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been on a compass.
Well, maybe that'll be the next one. Maybe if you decide you want to go with the Hobie drive, we'll get a few Hobies together and let you try some out. Maybe we'll hook up in Redding or somewhere along the way and let you try some of our Hobies out.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think it's definitely worth checking out to see if I could maybe get some of the same features I'm looking for out of a smaller, more manageable package even.
Yeah, exactly. For launching off the shore, you know, the Outback is still a pretty heavy boat. It's around 100 pounds, so it's not too dissimilar to a Titan 10.5 or something. Whereas the Compass is quite a bit smaller, you know, more easy to manage. It doesn't have as much features, but, you know, see what you could live with. And then you got the Revo, but because you want to stand up, I really don't think that's probably the option for you. The Revo 13 or 11.
Right, yeah, I think the Revo is just going a little bit too sporty at that point.
Nice one, dude. Got 3.
Got him.
But a fish. Fish are good fish.
All right, we're out here at Lodi Lake. We decided to pull out and just kind of share our final thoughts. We've been in all 3. We've checked them all out. Well, Bam did. Bam's the important one here because he's the one getting a new boat. So let's just go through and let's share our thoughts. We'll go ahead and start with the Jackson.
The Jackson cruise was super comfortable. The drive was fairly efficient for, you know, cycle style drive. I really like the way that the standing platform was laid out just behind the drive itself. Whereas like in the native, it kind of comes through the middle of the standing platform. Jackson did a good job of keeping it out in front of you, so that where you had to stand up, it's totally open and free for the feet. Super comfortable, but overall, not my top pick.
Okay, you can be real with folks. I mean, people are watching this video because they're thinking about dropping $2,000. So I mean, give me your honest feedback, man.
Yeah, I think what really killed the Jackson cruise for me is the fact that it just steering was just I couldn't really get it to go where I wanted it to go without an like overwhelming amount of effort. Like, you had to really focus on steering the boat, and that would immediately just in my mind, I'm thinking that's just going to take away from my day on the water fishing. So that just kind of killed it for me.
Yeah. And overall, I would say the drive felt good. It definitely felt better, but the fact that we broke it at the end of the day, I don't know why it broke. I mean, we've had good success with them. I'm going to send it back to Jackson. So, I don't know. We'll get some feedback on that and let you guys know. I'm sure it's something that will be addressed because it's probably just like a pin or a clip or something inside there.
And I've actually taken apart the top part of the flex drive, and that's pretty basic, pretty simple. It's got a couple more screws than the native does, but as far as internal, it's really simple. I haven't completely deconstructed the lower on there yet, so we'll see. Maybe this one.
Yeah, let's deconstruct this one just to see what we can get into and see what failed on us.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put some of that over on our Instagram page, you guys, if you follow us there. All right, so what about the Manta Ray? That kind of fit the bill for what you were looking for. Light, fast, still able to stand up.
Yeah, the Manta Ray I've got a little bit of history with. I've used it in the past, you know, through the shop. It's always been a boat that I've liked a lot and I feel like was underrated in Native's lineup. In fact, it's really comfortable. It's the fastest pedal drive that they have available in their pedal drive lineup. And then, but it's always just kind of seemed too small for me. Like, it's just the deck space and the layout for fishing just never really jived with me too well. But overall, like the quality, obviously Native quality, and then it's fast, it tracks a lot better than the Cruise does, and probably better than the Outback does too, to be honest with you. Instant reverse. It's got a lot of the things that would draw me to it, but all in all, just the deck layout just doesn't really scream a super fishable boat to me.
Gotcha. And then final thoughts on the Outback. I mean, that seemed to be the boat you've been using lately, and you seem to enjoy it today.
Definitely, yeah. So the Outback, I think, is kind of the biggest compromise for everything that I was looking for. It's a little heavier than I would like it to be out of the water, but all in all, I think it's got the most of what I'm looking for, and just the whole drive, the Hobie drive is something I'm really liking. I didn't really use it much in the past, but now that I've been using it, I really like it.
What sort of things do you like about that motion, or what's
it just seems to me like the Hobie drive is just more efficient. It seems to be less taxing on my body to get the boat to do what I want it to do, whether that be making a long run somewhere across the lake or just making small adjustments while fishing. You can either just very subtly move those pedals, or you can get long strides to get where you need to go. There's just a little more versatility in the drive as opposed to the just regular kind of cycling drive. You don't have the instant reverse, which is kind of a bummer. With the 2019 model, you do have the switch to make it go in reverse. But that still takes one extra step and a little bit of effort, and all in all, it takes your hands away from fishing each time that you have to do that. So that is the one downfall.
Yeah, and that's a downfall, Matt. You've been in both, and you've made the adjustment. I know it was a little tricky to get used to at first, but what do you think now that you've used it for a bit?
It's pretty quick adjustment, because most of the time, if you're already fishing or if you need to reverse while you're up by cover, you don't have the resistance of that forward motion. So usually if you cast and you're drifting a little too close, you can engage your reel, pull that with one hand, and be right back to it. Because most of the time when I'm pulling on that reverse, it's not anywhere that it's going to be more than a second to do, and once you stop thinking about it, it's done. It's not nearly as convenient as that, because it's one step versus two, but after you do it a couple trips out, you don't think about it at all anymore.
All right. So as you can tell, a little bit different tune from our first video. You know, we've had more time on the water. Matt's made the switch. He bought the Hobie because he wanted something he could do freshwater and offshore with. He's been fishing off it a bunch and definitely learning more about how the drive operates, and he seems to be real happy with it. So hopefully you guys like this sort of thing. I know we got some grief in the last one, so we really wanted to try to do as unbiased as a review as possible. And honestly, guys, we really wanted to love the Jackson Cruise. I mean, I'm invested heavily in bringing Jackson back into the shop based on our first review, but there's a few issues that Jackson needs to address. They got to get better steering. If they want this boat to sell and be competitive with Native and Hobie and Old Town and some of the others out there, they got to fix the steering. It's got to track better. It's got to be more intuitive. And the second thing is the drive. We'll open it up, see what we can find inside of there, and hopefully give you guys some feedback. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for watching these things. We enjoy doing them. Bam's got some thinking to do before he makes his final decision. I'll post what he ends up getting after it's all said and done here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, this is Dan, Matt, and Bam from Headwaters Kayak Shop, wishing you happy paddling. We'll see you on the next one.